T.B.Photo X1.5 and welcome back to another video. Well, this time we're gonna go back to microphotography and with what I would call genuine fakes, or rather I should probably clarify a little bit here. When I bought these small so-called gemstones on a flea market, they were marketed to me as genuine fakes, which means they are either just cut glass or that they are maybe some kind of other mineral or artificial gemstone, something like that, or that it is a natural gemstone but of a lower tier of quality. I'm not a, what is it called, gemologist, or I think it's called gemology when it comes to the teachings of gems and stones and so on, minerals. But anyway, they are a little bit of an interesting subject to do macro photography with, and yeah, don't put so much emphasis on if they're real or not. That's not really the point. The point would be that I would like to do a little bit of a drive through these lenses and see how the different focal lengths will change the result of the image that we can make with it. So what do we have here then? I have them in ascending order of focal length. So we start with this one. It's the Sigma 28mm EXDG 1.8. I have talked about this in a previous installment. Got this from a guy who on Tradera, a guy, I think he got it as a retirement gift, but it wasn't really what he was interested in using, so he sold it and I bought it for basically nothing. It's made in Japan though. Next we have a Nikon or Nikkor Swiss Army knife of lenses. Keep in mind that all of these lenses will have a crop factored 1.5 when they're mounted on the D7200. So here we have the AF Micro-NIKKOR 60mm f2.8 D series. As I've been told, or as I've understood, I should probably say, the D versions of the autofocus Nikkor series is that it can use, that it sends some kind of flash compensation information to the camera that it's used on. This is also made in Japan lens. Next we have the Sigma EX, let's see, yeah, 105mm macro, 105mm f2.8 EX Sigma, also made in Japan. I've done a video about this long ago, a couple of years ago, and yeah, I know there is a newer version out with vibration reduction, but this is what we have to work with. Finally, we have the big one, the Sigma APO Micro 180mm f3.5, and this is the HSMIF, and it's from Sigma's EX line. And this one has the ability to limit the focus throw through different variables. I have it on full range for the time being, but we'll see what we can use when it's on the camera and we take images. This is also a made in Japan lens. And finally, we have the highly specialized lens that I've shown in a video before. It is the Medical-Nikkor 200mm Medical-Nikkor.C Auto 5.6 200mm. This is a specialty lens that you need different combination of magnifying loops, either by themselves or stacked, to get different enlargements. So this can, on a 35mm equivalent, go up to 3 times, or 3 times, however you want to do it. Let's just do that. Yeah, and anyway, anyway, it can go up to a 3 times magnification, and then you need to stack 2 additional loop lenses to get that. but that's really the equipment such as hardware. And for the subject, let's see if I have them here. I got these 3 little crystals, I should probably say, with some information cards, cheap plastic, all of it. So it's supposed to be a natural ruby, a natural sapphire, and a natural emerald. And they come in these small gray plastic containers. But I think that we should just take these and take some macro shots of them and have a look at what we get when we develop them in Lightroom. So I think this is all for this segment. And as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X 1.5 to FX. I'd like to see you guys in the next video, as always. And yeah, please like, share, comment, and subscribe and all of that malarkey. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Okay, so now we are here with the first setup, and when it comes to this type of macro photography, you need to have the flashes very close to the subject. This is an old dual microscope that actually was a leftover from a hi-fi store in my hometown when that closed, and this was basically used to examine turntable pickups or vinyl player pickups or needles. So now I have repurposed it for, what should we say, my macro photography. So let's see what we can do here. If I turn this down to about f5.6 and do like so, yeah, I can probably give you a little bit of a macro shot of the subject here on the little desk of the microscope. And yeah, I also have the ability to turn it, so you will probably have a little bit of a, show on how it looks through the lens here in a video setting. And keep in mind also that when it comes to macro photography, the depth of field is inherently very shallow. So anyway, I'm gonna do now a little bit of a check of focus here. And I can actually do that on live view and I'm gonna go f22, which is the maximum f-stop I can use, which means I will get as much depth of field as possible. So I'll just zoom in and be able to pull focus so I have it as good as possible. And keep in mind, this is the 28mm. So we're going to take our first image here now, 28mm focal length, and it is the sapphire or alleged sapphire that we take an image of. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we might be able to do a little bit of a, just going to turn it a little bit and okay, so now we have a couple of the images of the sapphire at f22, and now I'm just gonna change up to the 60mm from the 28 to 60, and I'm always trying to focus as close as possible to get as close to 1-to-1 reproduction as possible. So I think we're gonna continue now. Here we go. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, it is clearly a huge difference now in the subject nature, like so. And this one goes all the way to 57, so see if we can do it. Oh yes, now we have the 60mm as close as possible, and we got a F number of 57. So I think that that's a really great result directly from this 60mm Nikkor. So now we're gonna go up to the Sigma 105mm and see what that can give us. And this will go to 32, so let's see. So now we have the 105mm in the bag, and now we're gonna go over to the big Sigma 180mm. So then I actually need to do some other things here, so be with you in a minute. Okay, now again I have it as close as possible, and let's see here now. One thing I start to notice is that with the increased focal length, you actually get a little bit more depth of field now when I'm using it at 5.6. So you can actually have a little bit of a better depth of field with a longer focal length lens. So I think that's good, and let's see if we can take an image here. We're gonna see how this goes. This goes to 32 as well, so here we go. Really good. So here we have it. Yeah, have a quick look at it, and now I need to do a little bit of surgery again here, because we're gonna change over to the 200mm Medical-Nikkor and see what we can get. Okay, now I have the Medical-Nikkor 200mm set to f5.6, and let's see what we can do if we rotate the object in question here, the sapphire, and yeah, we get some really interesting, a very shallow depth of field on this one as well, but keep in mind it's 5.6 here now, so something like that maybe. We can do some adjustments here. Extremely tiny movements are needed now to get the subject in focus, but I think we are fairly decent here now. Okay, let's go over here, and now I can actually stop this down to 45, but in order to take an image there I need to go in, because it's a non-CPU lens. I need to, okay, this one only goes to 22, so I guess we have to work with those limitations. So I set this to 22, and we have it now for 1 times magnification. So here we go. Okay, it became extremely dark. So let's see if we can do it like. That was a little bit too much. Let's go down to quarter power. Yeah, that gave us more of the result we wanted, but that means we can just, for goodness sake, we can go to 45 and we change these up to half power, and let's see what we get. Oh yes, I think that might be very good actually. But when we now have this system here, how about we see here, let's go. We go for the full blast here now. We're gonna go 3 times magnification. Where is it? There it is. Okay, now we can actually make out individual facets in the crystal itself. Let's see here. Whoa. It actually turned out a picture, and a fairly decent one at that. Really interesting to be able to go this far in on this type of crystal. Let's see what else we can do here. That's insane. Now we actually have 3 times magnification, or a reproduction factor of 1 to 3, which is kind of amazing. So now we're finished with the sapphire. We can put that back in its box. Let's, for the sake of argument, just take a look at the emerald. Okay, this is really interesting to have this type of magnification available. Let's just remove the first one here, so we go back to 1 time magnification with this one. Let's see here. Well, that was really a sweaty ordeal. Well, I know I didn't take every lens in the lineup here and took an image of every one of these stones, or whatever you want to call them, but I thought I did at least, I did every single one with the sapphire, and then I did some with the emerald and ruby as well. I don't have B-roll of all of it, but I think that it might be something a little bit interesting nonetheless, where you can see how the distance from the object actually increased with when the focal length went up. So at the 20, what is it now again, 28 millimeter, I was almost up just centimeters from the subject, while with the 200 millimeter the distance had actually increased. Also, a little bit of a caveat to keep in mind is that the Medical-Nikkor is the only one that doesn't have a focus system on it. The focal plane is a set distance. You can't change any focus with this one, but on the rest of them you can have different focus length, focus range. The distance from the subject can be different on these ones, but not on the Medical-Nikkor, which is a little bit of a limitation of this lens in particular. But as we stated, we went from 28, 60, 105, 180 and 200. And we have all of them with the little sapphire crystal here. But I think that we used the creative lighting system with the SB800 and the SB600s here. So all in all, it was a little bit of a cool experience to see what these lenses can do on close-up and the different characteristics of these focal lengths. So yeah, it's interesting with macro photography and product photography. I think I guess this would be all for me for now, and I would like to ask you guys now, do you have a preferable or a preferred macro or micro lens for your chosen system, and put it in the comment section below what your experiences with macro photography has been. But as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX. I'd like to see you guys in the next video. And as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I think I've already said this, but yeah, no harm in repeating myself in that one. So yeah, take care from now on. Bye.